Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my free-to-play friendly max solo storm build. So this is the build I will be using to solo the Darkmoor content that is coming up probably in the next couple weeks, assuming I still have membership by then. But whenever I get to run to Darkmoor, this is the build that I will be running to solo that content as much as I can. Obviously, for some stuff, you're probably gonna have to team up, but this is the build I'm gonna use. I also have some other pet stuff to show you just to get like the max stats if you want to be a min-maxer. But again, this is a Frillasaur less build. There is no Frillasaur, there's no raid robe, there's no raid wand. Even though I have it, I could swap it for more pierce. But for the sake of showing you guys the stats and everything, this is the free-to-play build as friendly as it can be. The stats are pretty damn good, so let's get right into it with the swap. Nice. So immediately we can see 10k health, very fun. Looking at the stats, which is 236 damage, 43 universal resist, 40 accuracy, which is enough for your bunyips, which is 35%, and enough for your regular spells, which is 30%. 875 crit, 600 block, which is pretty decent, 51 pierce, max pips, pretty good conserve, and then arch mastery. And you don't really care about shads because why bugs when you can just bunyips. One thing you might notice immediately is that I have a lot of life damage and a lot of life crit, and this was purely just a min-max thing for myself, in the sense that, you know, what if you need to heal? And so if you don't know how heals work, this is a complete side tangent, but for how heals work now, for however long, the crit amount and the multiplier amount is based off of your life crit. So if you use a satyr, it's based off of your life crit if it wants to crit, and then also, of course, your healing and incoming and outgoing also determines how much is healing there. But because this is a 0 healing in, 0 healing out build, I wanted to min-max any way I could, and that was with the crit. So let's get right into the gear, and as we go along, I will tell you where you can get each piece. Starting off with the Dream Reaver hood. This drops from Malice. You can craft it. You need to get the Malice badge in order to craft it. And there is a direct alternative, which is the Avatar hat. It's the same exact stats, but this dropped from a different boss. The Avatar hat drops from Conchu in Selenopolis. The only difference between the two is the item card. This gives a Galvanic, and the Avatar hat gives an item card Balance Blade, which, yes, is better, but I'm not going to farm for an extra piece of gear that I already have that's something pretty much exactly the same. But if you don't have the Reaper hat, I would recommend farming the Conchu hat. And this has the shield pin and our 2 life crits here. And for the shield pin, you could socket anything. I have fire resist, you could socket bounce resist, or you could socket outgoing. For the robe, I am running the Fraught Plot Armor, which is the Forbidden Library robe. All you have to do is farm the Forbidden Library at tier 1 with your main account, and then make an alt account that has like a level 1 on it. You go in together, you farm it over and over and over until you have the reagents. Once you have the reagents to craft what you want, then you go into the gauntlet at max tier, finish it, and then you can craft the max gear. The alternatives to this are the Raid Robe or the Marleybone Motors Pack 2, which give more damage, a little bit more resist, but the big thing is the pip chance. If we do a little bit of math, we have 101 pip chance. So our robe needs to give at least 8. And if I remember right, the Reaver robe only gives 7. So that is why we have to use a different robe other than the Reaver robe, because it doesn't give enough pip chance, if I remember off the top of my head right. And for this, we are running a double crit pin and then life accuracy. And if you noticed, we had 10% life accuracy, which means we cannot fizzle our satyrs, we can't fizzle the sprites or anything. It also gives a little bit of accuracy for our flood blades in case we get mantled or something. For the boots, I am running the Avatar boots. Yes, technically the Reaver boots are better in the sense that they give a better item card, but these are what I had. I'm not going to farm the Reaver boots for the exact same stats for a better Storm Trap, but they are the exact same. The Avatar boots drop from Loon Knight, which is the dungeon right before Conchu, but the Reaver boots drop from Malice. Same thing as the hat, you can get them from Malice, or you can craft them once you get the badge, and they just give a ton of good stats. With the wand, I am running the Reaver wand. Now you could run Reaver, you could run Avatar, you could run the Takanobu wand. They give a mix of damage and pierce. The Reaver, I think, is the best except for obviously the raid one. But this is the raid one that gives pretty much the same stuff, except for 1 extra pierce. And then also obviously the item cards are different. The Reaver one drops from Malice, and the Avatar one drops from the Taking Tree in Selenopolis. And again, just like the hat and the boots, they're the exact same stats, but they just give a little bit of different item cards. And this is just the one I had. For the theme, I am rocking the Reaver theme. This drops from the Valentian Fleet Fight on the Doom Moon. I have double health and double pierce socketed, and that's just because I wanted to get to 10k health. You are better off socketing one of the item cards, but you can see I do have the sharpened blade, and that's on my ring, which we can talk about the ring. The Reaver ring is a really good ring. It drops from Freddy Croker in Wallaroo. You can also craft it once you get the badge. And I have a damage, health, and then the item card Sharpened Blade. Now, why do I have the Sharpened Blade over the Potent? And that's for a couple reasons. In team combat, you're probably not going to be trapping. If anything, you're going to probably Frenzy into like a 7-pip, or you're going to Blade into a 7-pip, that sort of thing. You're not really ever going to be item card fainting or like item card windstorming. So that's kind of the idea there. But obviously if you want to min-max this build, I think getting the item card Potent is really good there, and then probably the item card Balance Feint. And that's because the Balance Feint can circumvent some cheats on some bosses, so it gives you like a little bit of an extra boost. But I just have double health socketed again for the 10k health because I like big number. For the amulet, circling back around, we have the Reaver amulet, and this drops from Crash the Bandicoot, which is a side boss in Wallaroo. It's really easy to farm this. You can 1-round it and team up pretty consistently. You can 2-round it and team up pretty consistently. You don't need to craft this at all. You will likely get it dropped when you're trying to farm for your socket, your wrenches to unsocket all of this stuff. So don't craft it. Don't spend the resources on crafting it. You will get it dropped eventually while trying to get your wrenches. And on here we have Pierce and Accuracy. I don't have a stat mount. I'm just running a regular mount. And you can see I do have the Perm Mini Tram. And that is because I was trying to get the Motorist Pack 2 robe. Don't worry, I didn't spend any actual money. I was buying them with Empowers and like on Gamma Trading Post. But I have not gotten a single robe, so I am stuck running the Cast Symbol Storm, which doesn't give any stats. For the deck, I am running the Avatar deck, and that gives a item card Elemental Blade, which is very nice. It also gives a good bit of health, block, some crit, and some Arch Mastery, and then I have a damage jewel socketed on it. And the Avatar deck drops from Loon Knight, so same thing as the boots. The Wallaroo version, the Reaver deck, drops from Mr. Montgomery, and you can also craft those with the respective badges. I do have 2 of them that I got dropped. One has Pierce and the other has Damage, just for some playing around with the stats. But moving on to the last piece, and yes, my pets are in the kiosk. But there's also the exclusive pet like strategy that people have implemented. I will show you that really quickly before we get into the pet. But some very nice people have used the weaving pets, which are exclusive for 2.0 really good pool pets. And they have all the really good stuff in the pool. Like this is a damage. Or this is Proof Defy, Mighty, I think Boon, Dealer, Giver, then Breaker, Piercer. And they have one of these for every school, depending on which weaving pet you're looking at. So this is the Storm one that you can use, and as I just showed you, you can see that there's Storm stats like Storm Giver, the Pain Giver. It looks like they've even made Decathlon pets. So if you do need a way to make pets, use the weaving pets. And so what this guarantees is that you'll always get your pet body back. So if I were to hash this, because I don't have the Morzilla unlocked as an exclusive pet, I will always get my Gulcher back. So that allows you to actually have a lot more fun and freedom with your pet bodies. But I'm just running the utility. And speaking of utility, this is my pet that comes with just my equipment set. It is quad damage, proof, and breaker. It's not ideal. It's not a perfect pet. It's as close as I could get with the resources I had, but I've had this pet for a long time. I do have a few others. I have this one, which is triple damage, proof, breaker. And the reason there's not triple damage is because I have to socket the Pain Giver, which means I need to get it to Ultra first. But, you know, the rule applies. This would get me 235 damage, or 236 damage, with 52 pierce and 44 resist. I also have this triple double pet with boon, which gets me 236 and 48 resist, and then 48 pierce. I also have this double pierce pet, which gets me 54 pierce, 229 damage. And then the last one, which is like my min-max one that I have so far, is this quint damage. And then this one will get breaker on it once it gets to ultra. But this gets me to that 237 damage, and it'll be 51 pierce. And then if I were to socket my attunement rod, I will get 52 pierce on that instead of 51. So I will have 237 damage, 52 pierce, at the cost of having like no resist. But I do like having proof on my pets, so this is likely what I'll rock for Darkmoor, or maybe the triple double. But I do have some Storm Hamsters that I was working on because the Storm Decathlon did pass. But yeah, that is the full build. It is completely free to play friendly. It is as close to max damage as you can get with the good amount of pierce. You get a very good amount of resist. You get perfect accuracy. You get perfect pips. You get a good amount of conserve and some good arch mastery for your bunyips. There isn't a whole lot that I can say, so I bid you adieu, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next build guide.